great big world out there. How y'all doing today? It is Saturday. Yes, we are in the second week of August. Like, didn't I tell y'all a long time ago that time is flying by? Like, oh my God, time is flying by. It was just July. Then before then, it was June. But okay, no worries. We in August. You know, this week, if you encounter some highs and some lows, it's okay. You may have been feeling like you were down and out in your feelings, having a whole bunch of emotions, whatever has taken place this week. Be glad that you're not still in that place and in that space. So still thank God that you made it to another day because someone else didn't. We want to be grateful for where we are. We even want to be grateful for what we've been through because it's just a testimony of who we are. Never forget that. So, you know, I like to kick off the show with fun facts. Oh, yes, I got some interesting facts. And my first fact is about cards. Like, I'm a card player. I love spades, right? I just love playing spades. And so when I did my research and I found out some information, I was actually shocked. I was looking at the cards the wrong way. So, did you know that playing cards represents kings from back in the day, like real kings? Like, I just thought somebody drew an image and put it on there and that was the king. Absolutely not. No. So, how it goes is the king of clubs is Alexander the Great. The king of spades is King David. The king of diamonds is Julius Caesar. And the king of hearts is Charlemagne. I was like, oh my God, I could not believe that. So that was very interesting to me. So when I play spades again, I'm going to be looking at these cards like, you were really a king. You were a real king. I want all aces and all kings from now on, nothing else. And I found out another fun fact because I like to try to learn. Not only do I like to try to learn something different every day, but I also like trying to incorporate a word every day and not just any word. I want a unique word. And so when I was doing my research on this, I found out that out of all the states in the US, all the states, there is no state that has the alphabet Q. And I found that pretty interesting. So, you know, I went, as detailed as I am, I went state by state, looked at it, wrote it out myself, and put it against the alphabet line. And literally, there is no state that has the letter Q. That is so very interesting to me. So those are my fun facts today. I hope you guys like them because, like, I'm learning so much out of this, right? We are in August and this is Leo season. Cancers are still the best, but no worries. We're going to share. Still sending out that mad love for August birthday, starting with my wife, Gisette. Her birthday is tomorrow. My nephew, David, his birthday is actually on Tuesday. My best friend, Chrissy, is coming up on the 21st. And my Nana's birthday, rest in heaven, is coming up on the 28th. So happy birthdays to all those August birthdays and those special birthdays I just mentioned. Now, of course, we're still in August, so that means that each Saturday that passes, that's days that have left. And I'm going to be talking about the remaining days that you have left available to get those returns done because that's still important. So if you are on an 1120, an 1120S, a 1065, a 990, if you are considered a corporation and you filed out and you went on an extension in the month of March or April, April was late, but you went on the extension in March, you have exactly 37 days from today to get that tax return completed and submitted for it to be on time. 37 more days, that's not a lot of time. Now, if you are an individual and you file out on Form 1040, you have exactly 67 days. That sound like it's a long time. You may say, well, okay, that's 2 months. Yeah, okay, you look up and it's going to be December. September and October is going to come smack you and keep on going. From what I'm seeing, this time isn't waiting on anyone. Not at all. So please like, love, comment, share this content, everyone. It's free. It's informational. You don't even have to go search for anything. Technically, you don't even have to watch. You can just listen. Just do that, and you never know who you're helping, because sometimes people don't always want to come to the forefront and say what it is that they're dealing with or tackling, especially when finances are available, because that's like a sticky and very, very intimate conversation. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so at youtube.com. Type in Anointed Accounting and subscribe to that page. So, just to do a quick recap of last week, we talked about the differences of a 1099 worker versus a W-2 worker. We talked about the pros and cons. We talked about the common industries that hire 1099 workers. And we talked about those important recommendations and rights for 1099 workers. We talked about all of that. If you missed that show, it's still on Facebook. However, you can go over to that YouTube channel and you can still see that show and prior shows. So today's show is titled More Than Just a Chair. And as I was speaking to a barber friend of mine, you know, he posed that question to me when I told him the topic, and he said, why did you choose that topic? And in essence, I told him, because you guys are more than just a chair, right? In essence, sometimes, you know, you also have that intimate relationship with your client. So your client tells you everything. I know I've told my barber a lot of stuff, like, Coach Tommy. Yes, I've told him a lot of stuff. He's actually my best friend as a male. And Patience, Blended P, I've shared so much with her, and also my stylist, the beautiful Bam. So that conversation is very, very intimate. So here's what I'm going to start off with. Back in the day, barbers weren't only cutting hair. They were also dentists and surgeons, because they had the tools. They could extract tooths and they can do surgeries. I also just found out that that red, white, and blue pole is universal, and it represents red for the blood, blue for the bandages, and white for the veins. So let's fast forward to 2025, right? While the tools have changed, the role as a skilled and trusted professional, which is a barber and or a stylist, that has not changed. That has not left the forefront, right? Now it's time to talk about another critical tool in your industry, and that's understanding your income and expenses and how to shape your business. Want to give shouts out to those who just tuned in. C Styles, thank you for tuning in. And I'm sorry, Ending Disease, thank you for tuning in. The screen is far. I was trying to read that. So thank you for tuning in. So what I'm going to say about more than just a chair, as I mentioned, you guys are friends. You guys are therapists. You guys are professionals. So we're going to take a step forward, and we're going to look at how your finances play a role in that, and how you could potentially upscale because you are considered a 1099 individual. So what I'm going to say first is that I've learned from several barbers is that coming into the industry, they wish they would have known how important it was to track every dollar. It is so very important to keep tabs of that. There was a time I used to see barbers that would, after every cut, go to a book and write something down. Nowadays, people are just remembering it, or they're putting it in their phone, which is still a good tool. You also have applications out there like QuickBooks. You have Excel. We can go old school with pen and paper. You could contact Anointed Accounting. There's all other sources of resources to help you track your income and expenses. So it's important to know how to track your income, right? So the first thing that I noticed is that the IRS in publication 1244 has a form 4070A. And what that is just a daily log of your income and expenses. So if you're very thorough, you want to know day by day if you're profiting or if you're at a loss. This is a good form to look at. You could also write it on paper. I'm not neglecting that. But this form is specifically made for that. What's so unique about that form is, guess what? If anyone pays you in a tip, you can also see how much you made via your profession and what you made in tips. And you can tally all of that up. You'd be surprised. Sometimes the tips add up to maybe the amount that you make annually or half of that amount. But if you're not keeping record of that and you don't know what's coming in or going out, you won't be able to tell and to decipher what is what and how you got it. The next thing I'm going to say is there's another application called Wave. Wave is also a good application for tracking your expenses. Again, if you need help with that, I highly, highly recommend that you reach out to your tax preparer and or your accountant to get you set up. Time and time again, I've seen so many barbers and stylists, they don't know how much money they've made. That's not good. You're in business because you are more than just a chair. Now, when I say track your income and you want to know if you're at a profit or a loss, let's assume that 3 months have came by and you come sit down with me and you say, look, I'm interested in buying this piece of property. They're requesting a P&L, which is a profit and loss statement, but I don't know if I have the money or not. Well, I would say to you, okay, not bad, but you want to know how much money you have. You want to know, and I don't want you to go to your bank account and see that this is my available balance. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about knowing where every dollar came from. You don't want to be the barber or a stylist that says, well, I paid the rent. I bought these tools. I bought this for the company. I did this for the company. I got a few extra dollars left. No, you don't want to be like that. You want to know where every dollar went. Like, I don't care if I go to the store and buy a pack of pencils. If I spent 50 cents, I'm logging that 50 cents because I want to know where every dime went. I want to be able to account for that. Another thing that you have to take consideration of is that if you are a barber or a stylist, you are paying 2 sets of expenses, which means if you're in a shop or a suite, you're paying booth rent. When you go home and lay your head down, you're paying rent or mortgage. So you have to account for both. You have expenses at the shop that you are responsible for. You have expenses at home that you are responsible for. If you don't know what you're making, how can you know how to spend it? At this point, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Nowadays, you can't even rob them no more because they don't even have it. So it's best to understand and know where your money is at. Again, I'm not asking that you be an expert. I'm just asking that you be aware. Because if you get up and you go to work every day, and of course, you all are standing on your feet every day, all day long, you want to reap the benefits of your success because that's your money. So why not know where your money is at? Also, what I've noticed too is that a lot of barbers and stylists commingle their funds. Shavonna, what do you mean? That means you have one account, which is your personal account. People, stop. Stop right now today. If you are doing that, I encourage you strongly to go to a bank, whether it's Chase, Bank of America, Citibank, BMO Harris, Wells Fargo. Go to a bank and open up that business bank account. This is going to help you so much in the long run. And let me tell you why having a business bank account is so very important. For one, it looks professional. So if I come to you and you're working out of a shop, I'm going to assume that you're legit. Now, this has nothing to do with any third party apps, and I'm not going to name those names. But if you come to me and I want to pay you by credit card and you don't have something as simple as a swipe, I'm going to get alarmed. If all you take is cash, I'm going to get alarmed because there are other methods of payments. You don't want to be held in this bubble only receiving one method of payment. So it looks professional to have that business bank account. People will take you more seriously. Secondly, I just said people will take you more seriously because I'm going to look at you as a business. I'm not going to say, well, okay, oh man, this is my buddy. So, my haircut was 40. Hey, Joe, I'm going to give you $15 now. And then, I give you the other bread when I get it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, because if you go to any other salon or barbershop, let's say you go to Sally's, you're not leaving up out of that salon and you haven't paid all the money. You're not going to do that. So if you want to be treated as a business and you want to be taken seriously, we have to start with that business bank account. Stop commingling them funds because people look at that. When you go for grants or loans or properties or investments, they're going to not only ask for your profit and loss statement, but they're going to also ask for your bank account statement. How does it look? And I'm going to just throw this out there. Let's just say you're a person that loves gambling. How does it look and you're a business and you got money coming in, but the next transaction I see is at the Horseshoe Casino? Absolutely not. I'm not going to take you seriously. I don't want to know what you're doing personally because we have this in a business account. So if my business name, for example, is Anointed Accounting, everything that's dealing with Anointed Accounting is going to go to one account, maybe two. Why do you say two, Shavonna? Because if I'm paying payroll, I'm going to have a certain account for payroll only, and I'm going to have that general account where I receive all income and all expenses can go out. It's not touching my account personally, which is Shavonna M. Allen's account. It's not touching that account. It's touching Anointed Accounting's account. So now people are taking me seriously. They're looking at me as a professional. I am not commingling funds. Also, it shows credibility. So you're credible because you have a bank account. I can trust you. Let's just say I send you some money and something happens. It's not on me to replace that money. Guess who's going to step in? The bank is going to step in and take over that and put in a claim and assist you. You want to stand out from everyone else, and something this small will help you stand out. Having a business bank account will also help you build a line of business credit. Time and time again, my barbers and my stylists, you have said, I want to branch out and do this. I want to branch out and do that, but I need a business line of credit. Well, you can't do that in your commingling funds because now I'm not taking you seriously. When you go down to a bank and sit with a banker, they're going to tell you, you have to have a business account for a business line of credit. You have to show activity. And if you have a business bank account, not only does it make it easier to track your income and expenses, it makes you grant and loan ready because everything is coming out of one account. Let's assume they do want that profit and loss statement. And let's just say it's the month of August right now. So we're in the 8th month. 9 times out of 10, they're going to want all of 2024's information, and they're going to want a P&L from January to August of this year. When you go to your preparer or your accountant, we don't want to have to decipher what's personal and what's business. You may have bought cleaning supplies for your home. 9 times out of 10, you probably bought 2 of each, because now you have to take some of those supplies to the business. So instead of trying to take that price and split it down the middle or assume something, have a business bank account. That's important. Side note, when I talked about receiving payments, people, open your horizon. I take everything. I take credit cards. I take debit cards. If you want to come with a bag of pennies, I take that because I got a coin machine that's going to count it. I'm not turning, my mom used to say, don't you turn down nothing, not even your collar. I'm not turning down anything. I want to be set aside from someone else, because if you do not accept more than one or two forms of payment, you leave room to have that person go somewhere else because it's not convenient. Now you may say, well, I don't want to use credit cards because it charges a convenience fee. So what? It's convenient. If you go to the federal and state entities and you have to make a payment, guess what? You're getting charged a convenience fee. Period. If some doctors, my doctor's office especially, you can use your credit card, but there's a convenience fee for that. What they don't charge convenience fees on is checks and cash. So some people take checks. I take business checks, and I take electronic business checks, which means that I can take your routing and account number, I can plug it into my system, and in 24 hours, it's going to take that money. You don't have to personally write me a check. Because again, some people have been burnt and you want to be cautious. You can take money orders. People are also leery about that, but you can get a certified money order, which comes from the United States Postal Service. That also helps. What I'm saying is, do not limit yourself when it comes to payments. I also take PayPal. I love PayPal. Yes, they charge you a convenience fee to send money business to business. Guess who that fee is on? That is on the customer, because it's convenient. Now, do I have anything against Venmo? Do I have anything against Cash App? No, I don't. But I like to talk to a real person. If something happened, I don't have time to sit here and text and send you a message and wait for a response, and then I send you a response, and then, no, I don't got that much time. No, life is too short for that. I need to pick up the phone and call somebody. If a transaction didn't happen through PayPal, I can talk to someone. I apologize. If a transaction didn't go right with the bank, guess what? I can pick up the phone and I can call the bank and say, hey, this transaction didn't go through. Something is wrong. They're going to investigate that. Whereas if you're using another app, you may not have anyone to talk to, because a lot of times nowadays, people are moving away from that. They're turning strictly virtual. So open up your horizon. I talked about the ACHs, which is an automatic clearinghouse. And so what that does is, if you go to the shop, let's just say I go see my barber once a week and I go to the shop. I'm going to have that set up in my bank account to come directly out every Tuesday to hit that person's bank account to make sure they got their money. If I don't have cash, let's just say I can't even Zelle, I have a credit card, or I got a bag of change that's already rolled up in quarters, nickels, and dimes and pennies, because that's money. I'm not turning down anything. It's important. Make it a recurring payment, like you set up bill pay. If you go to your stylist and your barber on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, set those payments up as recurring payments, which means stylists, barbers, open up that business bank account. Open it up. Have it available. Make yourself look professional and business ready. You can also pay on some booking apps. Do booking apps charge a convenience fee? Absolutely. That cost is on the customer because it's convenient. A lot of people are not paying those fees, but customers know it's on them, so they're okay with making that payment as long as they are aware. Now, I also have a method of payment where you can also go online to my website and make a payment. Is there a convenience fee? Absolutely, there's a convenience fee. And I keep repeating that because I want to let you all know, barbers and stylists, you're going to upscale your game, and you're going to open more doors by receiving more methods of payments. Okay? Um, Again, I'm not saying that the other apps I mentioned is not important. However, I just choose not to use it. Let's say you use an application like QuickBooks. QuickBooks has it so that you can send that person an invoice. They can make that payment right there, and it'll come directly to your account. So just be open to receiving more payments. Is it a headache? Depends on how you look at it. Is making money a headache? No, because you already know what you're in business doing. You know what comes with that territory. So now you have to focus on your finances and just put a little bit of focus on it, because majority of that focus you're going to give over to your accountant and or your tax preparer. Now, another thing, when it comes to barbers and stylists income, it can be unpredictable. When you're a cash-based business, it can be so unpredictable because things happen. People cancel. People, if they don't cancel, they can't come because of lack of funds. There are so many reasons things can happen. So this can be considered as a seasonal slowdown. When you get to this point and you know your slow seasons, you know your fast seasons, you want to start saving money. When you're a cash-based business, it's just that, cash-based. You have nobody to help you. It's you and you alone. So everything that you have to put in play, you have to do that yourself. Let me stop and acknowledge Miss Donna Golston Jacobs. Thank you for tuning in, cousin. I appreciate it. But you want to start small, very small. I tell people you can start at $5. You got to start somewhere. In your mind, you may want to start saving at $100, but reality, you can't do that. So start small. Start at $5. Once you save that and you see that you're doing okay, then increase it to $10. Keep increasing it. Now, because you are a cash-based business, guess what? You have to pay all your taxes. If you tuned into that July show and last week's show, you will know that there is no employer that is matching your benefits. You are your employer that's matching your benefits. So what that means is that you need to save between 15 to 30% of your income. You have to, because you're paying taxes. You're paying federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security taxes, Medicare taxes. Nobody is matching that. It's you and you alone. Again, I said start saving. You can start as small as $5. If you feel like, you know what, I'm going to just step out on faith. I'm going to sacrifice some things. Like, for instance, if you love Dr. Pepper and Jay's potato chips, and you just have to have that on a daily basis, and that comes out to a total of $30 a week. You may say, well, instead of me doing that 4 weeks in a month, I'm gonna do that 2 weeks. So I want to save $60. So now you're saving this $60 a month because it's called sacrificing. Let me tell you something else that comes with being self-employed. Let's talk about something that we're all facing: health coverage. No one is covering your health coverage. No one. It's you and you alone. You have to either go through the marketplace, you have to go through Aetna, you have to go through Blue Cross Blue Shield, you can go through MetLife, whichever health coverage plan and company you want to go through, you can do so. But guess what? When you're a W-2 employee, you're paying a certain portion and the company is paying a certain portion. Now, because you're a 1099 employee, you're paying at 100%. There is no discount. You are the discount. You're paying it out your pocket. Period. That's important. Now, what I will tell you, and stylists, I did my research and I wasn't able to find anything. But if you are a barber, the American Barber Association provides coverage, including liability insurance, business insurance, and health insurance. I didn't know that. Well, why would I? I'm not a barber. But anyway, that's important. The National Association of Barbers also provides affordable health coverage, including life, liability, business, and health. So you have those two entities that offer insurance. If the companies that you are calling is too expensive or maybe a bit out of your price range right now, then stay where you're at. Go to your association, contact these 800 numbers and say, hey, I'm a barber. I'm looking for health coverage. I'm looking for general liability coverage or business coverage. They have these options for you, but you may not have been aware of that. That's why I'm here, to make you aware. Don't you just love your accountant? Now, there's another way that you can have health coverage. HSA accounts is not just for W-2 employees, which is called the health savings account. You can open up your own health savings account, but you have to pay into that. Again, nobody else is matching that. You're paying that at 100%. You're covering that entire cost because you don't have any help. Okay? Now, let's talk about your financial pros, right? I wrote down about 15 of them, but I'm not going to go through all 15. I'm going to just give you a snippet of some of them. So your pros when it comes to your finances is, if you're a barber or a stylist, you can add on additional services. For barbers, let me tell you what I've seen that I did not know that happens, right? I went into the shop one day and one of the barbers had the gentleman in the chair. After he got done cutting his hair, he had did a whole little face mask thing, and he was massaging here and here, and then he went and got a hot towel, and then he got some steam, and he went and got this and that. Then he set him up and he did something like this, and then it was just so much that came with that. I couldn't even focus on getting my hair cut because I was like, this is a guy. Guys do this? And yes, but what caught me off guard was the price. The price was like almost $250, and they paid it without a problem. So that is you opening up your horizon, offering additional services. You're controlling your schedule also when you do that. Control equals balance plus earning potential. Remember that. Control equals balance plus earning potential. You have hair and facial treatments alone. I've seen at the shop I go to, they treat the beard and the mustache. They treat everything, and they take their time with it. It's not just a 10 to 15 minute process. I mean, I've seen these barbers dig into it. Like, I was looking. I think I even asked, could I just come sit up here one day to see everything y'all do? Because I'm just in a state of awe with that. Another service that you can offer is mobile services. These are financial pros because this is more earnings and more income for barbers and stylists. Now, I know the stylists offer the steam and the hot treatment and the deep condition and the extra massaging, all that. That's like therapy in itself. And I know that those prices are kind of up there, but you pay for what you want. You want good, you pay for good. You want mediocre, you pay mediocre. But if you're going to these professionals, again, remember, as I stated in the beginning, these barbers were not just barbers back in the day. They were actually dentists and surgeons because they had the tools to perform all of the services. We're just talking about currently now. Of course, it's changed. You wouldn't go to a barber to get your tooth pulled. However, you're going to your barber and your stylist because you're trying to look better. You're trying to enhance how you look. You already look fly, but you want to go get those extra enhancements. Another financial pro is you're paid daily. Every day you get paid. What you do with that is on you, but I suggest that you save it, take a note of it, write it down, put it up so you will know what you have. Pricing and promotions. Your price is your price. If your cut is $45, that's your price. You may say on Thursdays between the hours of 10 and 4, I give discounts. Guess what? If you come outside of that time, you don't get a discount. So you have to pay regular price. These are your financial pros that help you get more money within your business. The cons. Let's talk about the cons. Oh boy. You have cash dependency risk. Shavonna, what is that? First of all, when you're being paid in cash, it's hard to track that money. It's hard to prove it. So let's just say you want to rent an apartment, right? And you get paid cash. You don't have a business bank account. I can't track how you're getting your money, but you want to come rent from me. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I can't, because I don't know where your money coming from. Now, let's say you had that business bank account and you can prove that, hey, this is how I make my money. I'm a cash-based business. I'm doing everything legitimately. This is how I can pay you. Then, okay. But that's a con when you're in a cash-based business. People look at you kind of leery because they don't know how they're going to get their money. Again, being in a cash-based business is unpredictable. You have high physical demands, which means you have long-term career earnings by cutting short industries. Shavonna, what do you mean? Let me give you an example. So I'm an accountant. I type all day. If I continue at this risk, there's a chance I may have carpal tunnel. So if you're standing on your feet all day long and it's too long, it causes cardiovascular issues, joint problems, and your concentration is reduced. I know if I'm standing for too long, I'm not even thinking about what I'm doing. I'm thinking about getting off my feet because something is bothering me. Whether it's my back, my legs, my feet, something is bothering me. So that's a health concern. Another physical demand is no disability. So let's just say you're a W-2 employee and something happens and you need to take off work for an extended period of time. Your job pays you short-term and long-term disability. Whereas if you're a 1099 self-employed barber stylist, you're paying your own disability. You have to pay into that. You do. And what else comes with that is swelling, discomfort. What if you sit down and you're trying to get comfortable because you've been on your feet and then you try to stand up and you look down at your knees and your legs and they're swollen. They look like elephant trunks. That's because you've been on them all day. I don't care what type of comfortable shoes you wear. I don't care about the mat. It's just high physical demands that come with certain job industries. Another con is that there are no employee benefits. Shavonna, what do you mean no employee benefits? Guess what? There's no retirement. So let's just say I work for the Social Security Administration. After 30 years, I can retire and sit back and collect my retirement because I done paid into that. But now since I'm self-employed, I don't work for anyone. Guess who got to pay into their own retirement? Me, all by myself. Ain't nobody helping me. So that's where them taxes come in that you're paying. There's no health protection or security unless you got it yourself. Let's assume you want to take a day off work. You get up, you just not feeling going in on this Wednesday. You're just not in the mood. You feel irritable. You're just not yourself and you want to take off. Well, guess what? You don't go to work, you don't get paid. And there's no PTO time. Whereas if you were a W-2 and you took off, you may have sick time or PTO time. When you're a cash-based business, you don't go to work, you don't get paid. Let's flip that. You can still go to work and don't get paid because, again, things happen. You may have the whole day booked, but something may have happened with all of those clients. You want to be able to recognize that. You also have out-of-pocket costs at 100%, meaning, Shavonna, explain that to me. I know I pay for this. I know I pay for that. Here's the thing. Maintaining and upkeeping of your equipment. That's all you. Nobody else is paying for that, barbers and stylists. Whereas if you worked for a salon and you came in as a W-2 employee and they gave you all of these instruments, then they would be responsible for maintaining the upkeep of it. But when you go in and you're paying booth rent, you are solely responsible for your tools and equipment. Let's just say you have your own establishment. So now you're responsible for the overhead of that entire establishment along with your home. So it doesn't just stop there. So when you're going in making money, you're making money for your business, but you're also making money for you because you have outside expenses. When you're in a cash-based business, you're paying for advertising, marketing, certifications, licenses, equipment, tools. You're paying for your health coverage, your general liability insurance, your business insurance, your health insurance. Nobody is covering that but you. You're paying for all your supplies, you're paying for your travel, and you're paying for your personal upkeep. You're paying for that. Nobody is matching you. Nobody is saying, well, you know what? Here's just the extra $2,500 just because you're you. Absolutely not. No, they're not doing it. And the last con that I'm going to tell you about is the self-employment tax. Yes, that you are responsible for. When you're at work, your company pays Social Security and Medicare. But there is no Social Security and Medicare when you're on a 1099 and or a cash-based business. You are paying that by yourself. So that's 15.3% of your earnings that you need to be taking in account. So, and you have to file your quarterly reports. If they're not on time, you get penalized for that by the federal and state entities. Isn't it fun being a business owner? It is. Even with the cons, I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. And that's because I'm aware. And that's what I'm doing, making you all aware. Now, here are my recommendations for my barbers and my stylists. And I know I've said so much. I know I've talked about so much. But again, I like for you to be aware. As I said last week and week before last, it is okay to be nosy about you. It is okay to be nosy about your social and what is attached to you. Period, point blank. So, get an EIN number. Become that business that you want to become. Even if you're a sole proprietor, get that EIN number because, again, you are more than just a chair. Open that business bank account. That's so important. Track all your income. Track all your expenses to the last dime. If you don't want to do that, you need to pay for bookkeeping services. With bookkeeping services through Anointed Accounting and some other agencies I work with, you get a profit and loss statement at the end of every month. You get a snapshot to show where you are and how you did that month. So it's not a surprise to you. So when you come at the end of the year and we're talking about your tax return and I say, well, you made $89,000 and you're looking at me like I'm crazy. No, that's what I see. But had you tracked everything, had not you commingled funds and gave me one account, well, in essence, you didn't make $89,000, you made $39,000. So there's a big difference. That's why it's so important. You could also, like I said, use QuickBooks, Wave, Excel, or bring out the general ledger paper. That's important. I already said you could contact an accountant or a bookkeeper, and you want to avoid lifestyle inflation. Shavonna, what do you mean? I mean, stick to a budget. Let's just say the month of July was good to you. You made $9,000 in July. Well, guess what? We're in August. We're coming to the third week of August and you only made $1,000. Every month is not going to be the same. You are going to have some highs and you're going to have some lows. So just because you made $10,000 last month, don't go out there and buy a $5,000 table. It's not necessary right now. Hold that money because you still have to account for your taxes. You still have to account for that slow season. Okay? In that slow season, prepare. Get all of your stuff in order, your receipts. Get your questions in order. Set up that meeting to have that consultation. Has anything changed? What has changed with you? What has changed with the business? What did the business go through, whether it was good or bad? That's important. That's why I said your conversations with your accountant is very, very intimate and personal. That's important. You have to remain consistent. You have to. That's how you're going to polish your finances. And that's not to say you don't know what you're doing. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's always room for improvement. Even though I'm an accountant, I learn something different about business every day. When I sit down and I talk to my accountant about stuff, she gives me pointers and tips on how to do stuff better. And I've incorporated that, and it looks better and it looks more polished. So that's why I give this information to you, because I want my people to be aware. Our Bible says that our people perish for lack of knowledge. We're not going to perish for lack of knowledge because I'm going to give it to you as much as I know. Now, let's do a quick recap. What did we talk about? Barbers, you were, and stylists. I'm not leaving you out. Barbers and stylists. You are more than just a chair, okay? You're more than that. Your finances is going to take you to that next level where you want to be. You want to have multiple streams of payments. And you want to have multiple streams of income, which means you're offering more businesses, whether it's in-house or you're offering a mobile service. Let me pack up my equipment and go to you. Guess what? That's an extra cost. You know why? That's a convenience because I got to come to you. And people pay that. So it's okay. Building a safety nest. That's so important. Starting small. We talked about health coverage. We talked about your pros and your cons. We talked about out-of-pocket expenses. We talked about those self-employment taxes. I cannot stress that enough. If you have not made any estimated payments and you're looking at your expenses, and let's just say we're in August and you're at about $40,000, already take 25% of that money and set it to the side. Because when you file your taxes and there's a deficit at the end, you don't want to be caught in that crossfire. You want to have something available that's going to protect you and that's going to help you to cover that debt. Because what I've seen time and time again is that if you wait and don't pay those payments, the amount that you owe, the interest and penalties that you accumulate will outweigh the amount that you owe on the federal and the state side. You don't want to give these people no more money than what you have to. You want to open up your own health account, your health savings account, or look into getting you some health coverage. As my mom said, you want to put away some money for a rainy day. Save that money. That is your safety nest. This is polishing up your skills. This is not saying what you have been doing is bad. It's just room for improvement. And when you're improving, it's okay to improve. Nobody said that you had to be stagnant. We also talked about tracking every dollar, knowing where everything is at. You have to, down to the last penny. That I don't care if you went to the store and it was $1.73. I'm coming home and I'm writing it down because I need to know where my $1.73 is at. Because me, I know how thorough I am. I'll sit back and think like, man, I had $10. I spent $5 here, $2 here, but I only got $2 left. Where did I spend that other dollar at? And that's going to bother me. But because I wrote it down, I can always go back and say, hey, that's where I put that at. That's where this is at, or that's where that went, because I need to account for that. When I'm ready to start investing, when I'm ready to go look at brick and mortals, I have all my ducks in a row. You don't have to look at me funny because I'm a cash-based business. Why? I have an EIN number. I have a business bank account. I have traffic. I have financial statements. I work with an accountant. So you're going to give me what I want. And I'm coming in there asking that you give me what I want because I done prayed about it and God already said I can have it. Boom. So that's what we talked about. Okay? That is so very important. With that being said, to my barbers and my stylists, you all are more than just a chair. Again, you're therapists, you're trusted professionals. Your art, your artiste is what help individuals like me feel like we're on top of the world. Because I know I tell my barber all type of things. Like I told her one day, put a set of eyes in my head, one eye winking, the other eye have tears coming out of it because it's watery with a hint of blue. And I had that. I asked for a dove sitting in the pond. That's just me though. But anyway, your expertise helps individuals like us. It enhances how we look and how we feel. You carry on centuries and centuries and centuries of tradition. This is what you all do. You guys are so uniquely designed. You have different uniques and different trades that just shut the atmosphere down. Let's talk about C Styles. C Styles, I've went and saw this gentleman's work, and I just have to sit in awe. Because to sit and see somebody use a razor and don't need to look at a mirror, can talk and use a razor and finish a haircut, I'd just be like, woo, that couldn't be me because I couldn't do it. But anyway, as you carry on this tradition, as you continue to master your craft, because again, this is your craft. This is your skill of precision. Shavonna, your accountant, your professional, I encourage you to give that same attention to maintaining and strengthening your finances. You don't want to get left behind. You don't want to be sitting on the back burner trying to figure out why, what, how did this happen? Where did this go wrong at? And then there comes that long, drawn out conversation that you're dreading to have when you go sit down with someone. Or you just take what it is and you hold it in and you don't discuss it. That's not good either. If you're working with a personal accountant, I encourage you, set appointments with them quarterly. Hey, first quarter ended in March. This is April. Just want to set up an appointment with you. Just want to see where I'm at, how I'm doing, talk to you, get some things going, tell you what's going on with the business. I've said time and time again, there's 5 people you do not hide anything from. That's your pastor, your priest. That's your doctor, your physician. That's your attorney. That's your accountant. And that's God. You don't hide nothing from none of them because collectively, all together, they're going to help you. You have to tell them everything. They have to be nosier than you because they want to help you. And it's okay to set up those appointments. Hey, you may want to be the one that say, I need to set up this appointment once a month. Once a quarter just not going to do. Set that appointment up with your accountant. If your accountant does not do that, you're with the wrong person. Because if I'm spending my money with you and I can't come have a consultation about my finances that you're getting on me about time and time again, that's a problem. That's an issue. You don't want to go to no one who does not have time for you and who does not know how to answer your questions. Just like I don't want to go to a barber that don't know how to give me a razor lining and do a design in my head, no matter how obscene it is. And I don't want to go to a stylist who can't do what I want done because I'm spending my money to enhance how beautiful I look. If they can't answer my questions, if they can't talk to me, that's an issue for me because I got questions. I need to know. I can't sit in your chair every day. I have to do my own maintenance at home. So there's things that I have to walk away with to know. So when you see me in a week or two, I don't look like a fool. I don't look like I have just not been here. So it's important. Continue to build that relationship, okay? Strengthen your finances. That same energy again that you're using for your craft, use that for your finances. Don't worry about being an expert. That's what we're here for. Just worry about being more involved and more aware because that's important. So, thank you for tuning in and thank you for listening to that. My barbers and my stylists, I do love y'all. Y'all mean so much to me. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see both of y'all next week. I can't wait because this head, baby. Woo! But anyway, we have another great episode for you guys next week. Please tune in next week. Hey, Tootie! Please tune in next week. As my mama and Aunt Johnny say, Lord's will. We are going to be talking about deductions for anyone that's a cash-based business and or receives a 1099. Time and time again, I get that question so much. Or if I get the source documents to do the tax return, nobody gives me any expenses. So now I have to call you and sit down and ask you what your expenses are. And then the questions that I get is, well, what can I write off? What can I deduct? Nobody never told me this. So tune in next Saturday as we talk about all your deductions as a 1099 worker. So whether you're a truck driver, a gig worker, a barber, a stylist, whether you sell dinners, whatever it is you do, we're going to talk about those expenses that you're able to deduct and write off. We're going to talk about the importance of having that consultation with your accountant and or your preparer and what that does for you. We're going to talk about how that goes. And I think I may even have someone call in and we do a mock consultation just to give you a synopsis of how that'll look. I don't know yet. I'm still thinking about it. A lot of people don't like to be put on site, but we'll see. We're going to also be talking about how important that IRS ID Me account is and how important having that My Tax Illinois account is. If you're in the state of Indiana, the state of Michigan, having those state accounts are also so very, very, very important. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about my favorite, you being accountable for your documents. So we got a lot to cover next week. I know I talked about a lot this week. I said a lot last week. And again, people, this information is free. This information is so important. I'm not telling you what I sat down and thought of. I'm telling you what I know because I'm in it every day. I've been in it almost 15 years. My second Bible is the federal and state entities' websites. If I can't find the information on their websites, best believe I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling them. Someone is going to give me an answer. If it's not there, I'm pulling publications, I'm pulling journals because I have to be aware. So the information that I'm passing along to you is very, very valid. It's very important. So please like this information, love it, comment, share it. You'd be surprised who don't need it, who do need it. Just share it. If you have not subscribed to their YouTube page, go ahead, go over and subscribe to it. We've had some awesome shows in the past dealing with mental health, men's mental health, Alzheimer's awareness. We've talked about W-2s. We've talked about 1099s. We've actually talked about the whole 1040, pages 1 and 2. Now we're talking to barbers and stylists. We even talked about the difference between a W-2 and a 1099 individual. So please go back and look at those episodes. If you haven't, listen to them. You may very well come away with more information and all of your questions answered because they're talked about on those segments. You guys enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy this heat. Have a blast. Have a blissful and beautiful, blessed next week. And I will see you all Saturday, Lord's will. I love you. Bye-bye.